Hey, it's Fugitive Watch Monday night. We're doing a little late, 9 o'clock tonight. Got a lot of stories lined up, and I'm here with Scott Castrita, Steve Ferdine. I am Mark Hinch. We are all retired police officers. I'm from the Highway Patrol. These other two dudes are from San Jose PD. They also run. What's that website you guys run?
Fugitive.com. Fugitive Watch.
.com. Yeah, pretty cool.
You run, but you can't hide.
You can't run, but you can't hide. Okay, I don't know. That's my website right there. It's Stolen 911. And but the Fugitive one is that one there. And it's a Cesar Chavez Day. Right, Steve?
That's right. Yes, we got the legendary Cesar Chavez founder, him and Dolores Huerta founded the United Farm Workers Union in the late 60s and led two famous strikes against corporate growers in the Salinas Valley. And he was made a federal holiday by President Obama.
A couple people in the comments don't like him.
We had to.
Whatever, the bunch of fools.
Welcome to the New World Order.
Yeah.
Hey, if you need a private investigator, you can find me at stolen911.com. Look at this. I just got this case in Texas of a stolen Chevy Bel Air. And then I've got this Audi R8. Still looking for this classic Model A and Modesto. All sorts of cool stuff going on there. All right. We're going to get right into it.
Where's the Bel Air?
If you can't comment, I need you to comment that you're watching us. If you can, say hello in the comments there, whether on Facebook and or YouTube. Make sure tell us where you're from, and we'll try to answer your questions or say hi. And we know it's past your bedtime sometimes. Some of you guys.
Make sure you hit the subscribe and like buttons also.
Like and subscribe, and we'll put our number up down below. And we hope to see you guys on the chat. All right, let's go. Story number one. You guys ready?
Sure, let's hit it.
All right, let's do it.
Let's hit the ground running. We got a lot of stories we want to cover.
Woo! Okay, this is the one, man. This is the one you guys, that graphic I put together brought you in. North Bergen Police Chief Robert Farley accused by officers of pooping by desk, spiking coffee with Viagra. Back to blue. That's what I got to say, right? All right.
Yeah.
Here we go, man. I probably has a back to blue flag or something, too.
Sounds like that might be considered a hostile, toxic work environment, right?
Let's watch the story first, see what's going on.
All right.
In New Jersey, officers in Bergen County say they're taking action against what they call a hostile work environment created by the police chief.
That's
They're
what I
planning
said.
to file a lawsuit alleging some pretty disturbing behavior. Adam Harding live in North Bergen with what officials there are saying tonight, Adam.
Yeah, we're getting some new reaction tonight from the North Bergen Township. This as 5 officers within the department indicate their plans to sue, and tonight they are providing what they describe as photographic evidence.
We're very confident in every allegation.
Attorney Patrick Toscano represents the 5 North Bergen officers planning to sue the police chief for creating what they describe as a hostile work environment.
I've never seen anything remotely resembling something like this.
These are just some of the photos provided by Toscano. Allegations made against Chief Robert Farley include sending a gay pride flag to an officer's home, shaving his body hair and leaving it all over an officer's desk and personal property, and jabbing an officer with a hypodermic needle through his pants. The officers also say he pulled his pants down and defecated on the floor in front of his entire staff. On several occasions.
That's management for you.
Wow.
Is that on the sergeant's test? Scott, is that on the sergeant's test?
It wasn't on mine.
Okay.
He has thrown eggs in fits of anger, creating additional messes for staff to clean up. And they say he also tampered with the office coffee by adding prescription medications such as Adderall and Viagra, causing staff to inadvertently experience the effects of these substances without their consent.
I can't think of a word that adequately describes what we've seen in photos and what we're told in this situation. I guess the best we can say is disgusting.
North Bergen denies any wrongdoing, calling the allegations false and outrageous, claiming they were made by disgruntled officers. In a new statement late today, the township says some of the officers planning to file suit recently had their overtime pay reduced, writing, when Chief Farley took office last year, he undertook an initiative to reduce the amount of police overtime. It is highly suspicious that these allegations have only come to light after Chief Farley instituted these reforms.
They all immediately said, as to any allegation that they have filed, they will all undergo polygraph examinations immediately.
Tonight, Toscano calling for the Attorney General's office to step in and for the chief to be removed. North Bergen says it has referred the case to the Hudson County prosecutor. Tonight, we've also learned the Attorney General's office is investigating. The township tonight says no one should rush to any judgments. These allegations have not been proven true.
I'm rushing to judgment.
Yeah, it's
Wow,
I mean, can you make that stuff up? Or I mean,
Now we have to remind everybody these are our opinions.
Yeah, these are our
and
opinions.
these were allegations
These are
against
allegations.
the police chief that
By-
he was pooping
by-
on the floor in front of everybody and shaving
by-
his body hair.
By
It's
5
having-
officers, including a lieutenant.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's not easy to maintain a stiff upper lip when your coffee might be spiked and your chief is leaving deposits around the office.
And
Yeah.
allegedly poked an officer in his pee-pee with a hypodermic needle.
I that is just how did he
Okay,
how does
so,
he not
wait.
have his teeth
And-
knocked out?
So it's because they're mad. So there's the police. The official statement for the police chief is they're upset because he cut overtime.
Yeah. You know, Mark, I when I lateraled over to San Jose PD, there was it was all lateral officers. There were 60 of us, 60 officers from across California, different agencies that got hired at one time. And so I got to meet a lot of guys that came from different agencies. And I tell you, Mark, I heard some horror stories about the reason they were coming to San Jose PD of just the tyrannical regimes that they worked under. Some of these,
Yeah.
not all of them, but some of them.
When I joined the highway patrol at my academy, there was a lot of prior law enforcement from other smaller agencies of guys joining the highway patrol because they wanted to get away from stuff,
Okay.
weird stuff.
All right, guys, come on. Really? And any of the stuff you heard top that?
I pretty not the poking so with the hypodermic needle and the pooping, but
And adding drugs to their coffee and pooping on the floor in front of the office
Don't forget-
staff and shaving their body hair.
Yeah,
and
they're
leaving
shaving their back.
I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to try to one up that.
Back to blue.
no, I guess I
I mean, I know you've heard a lot. We've all been around for a long time, but
I mean, yeah, I've worked for some guys who would be classified as jerks, I guess, in my book, but nothing like that.
I want evidence. I want video.
it's there. They say they have it. So
Okay, well,
All right.
that's so
Yeah.
we'll have to follow that one.
Yeah, but
So we-
also a good friend of mine, another officer, he became a lawyer and worked representing police officers in disciplinary cases. And again, he tells me that some of the stories that he has to defend officers on for just hostile work environments, that's like his bread and butter.
all right.
Well, there we go. Yeah, that's interesting.
I think we
What do you
beat
guys
that
think? Let us
story.
know in the comments below.
Yeah.
And they're going to need a new chief of police.
You know,
over there,
and the thing too,
maybe.
Mark, the public, the non-law enforcement people that watch the show have to realize that these are the officers that they're also facing, ugly things on the job.
Yeah.
So they're fighting a two-front battle.
No.
Wow. All right, so let's move on. 2 men convicted after 53 die, 11 injured, and locked semi-truck human smuggling operation. And this is from South America. Let's go ahead and watch the story, and then we will. Steve can tell us what's going on here.
trial for the deadliest case of human smuggling in U.S. history.
This is centered around the death of 53 migrants along Quintana Road back in 2022. Our Garrett Berger joins us now with what comes next in this case. Garrett.
Wow.
Well, it took just 2.5 hours for a federal jury to decide that both Armando Gonzalez Ortega and Felipe Orduna Torres were guilty on all counts. But it will be 3 months before we find out what that will actually cost them. The judge today saying that he's scheduling their sentencing for June 27th, the third anniversary of the date of this deadly smuggling incident. Now, on June 27, 2022, 53 out of at least 64 migrants brought out of a sweltering trailer on the south side died. One of them was a pregnant woman, the judge counting her unborn child as one of the victims. Prosecutors described the pair on trial as the lead organizer and the right-hand man of a group that had been smuggling people into the U.S. But on this ride from Laredo to San Antonio, the air conditioning of the truck was not working.
These defendants knew that the air conditioner did not work and nevertheless disregarded the danger that posed to their human cargo. This human cargo that had trusted them by entering that truck trailer for the last part of their journey.
Prosecutors also showed victims of the truck.
Pause it there for a minute, Mark.
And the inside of the trucks after.
Yeah, going to show the walls of the interior of the truck. If let the people know that was the victims using their fingernails trying to claw their way out of that semi truck. That's how bad they suffered.
And Matt, 53 of them were dead in there. Imagine just piled on top of each other,
you dying in a miserable heat, and that's more people than were killed in the mass shooting in Las Vegas. At the top of my head, I can't think of more victims of a mass murder other than the bombing of the federal building in Oklahoma City or 9/11. 53 people were, including children, died in just horrific conditions.
Did they catch them at the time?
No, they did not. No, this took them a couple of years to find them.
Find them, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There's still one more outstanding.
The victims and the inside of the trucks after the verdict had been read in court. These photos showing the inside of the trailer, the rolling coffins where dozens of people were left to die in the sweltering heat. Only 11 people making it out that we know of right now. Now, there has been a number of convictions in this case so far, but investigators say they are not done. At least one co-leader is still not in custody. And recently, an alleged recruiter from Guatemala was just extradited to the United States, and where he will be facing charges as well. Live outside the federal courthouse in San Antonio, I'm Garrett Berger, KSAT 12.
So do we have that guy listed on Fugitive Watch?
No, they did not identify him in the story. I've been researching, trying to find the information on the outstanding subject.
What's the purpose of that?
But in my humble opinion, the death penalty is not good enough.
Yeah, that's a brutal.
Just horrific.
There. Yeah, that's just horrific.
Words don't exist to describe how horrible that was.
No. I don't even know what to say. I'm just so horrified. The whole thing.
It is.
Saw the pictures of young people, especially the young people in there.
Yeah.
You know, whether your stance is on immigration, these are just people that were just trying to work. And we all know a lot of people in our lives that probably came through the border in a similar fashion. You know, people that we work around and some of the local contractors here employ. So interesting. All right, let's go over to we're gonna Maricopa police release video of officer fatally shooting fugitive Keith Prock in a shootout. I'm just gonna go right into it, and we are going to.
It's another example of what police officers face.
About an officer-involved shooting. This one in Maricopa happened last week at a Circle K right on John Wayne Parkway near Copper Sky Park.
The incident was caught on officer body camera. Take a look.
Stop, man.
So the video you see here is showing Officer Sebastian Sanchez chasing the suspect, now identified as 38-year-old Keith Prock.
Looks like a good shoot to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He hit the officer too.
Yeah, he hit the officer multiple times. The officer's still in the hospital.
As Officer Sanchez chases him, Prock is seen pulling out a gun and then opening fire, hitting Officer Sanchez several times. And newly released body camera video from a second officer on scene showing that officer continuing to chase Prock and then shoot him in the parking lot. Prock died on scene. We're told Prock had an extensive and violent criminal history. Meanwhile, Officer Sanchez is still recovering from the shooting, but today we learned he is now out of the hospital.
Good.
All the officers involved have been placed on paid administrative leave, which is standard procedure. The Pinal County Sheriff's Office is now handling the investigation.
What's what was the original stop want for? What was the original want for?
The guy was wanted for dope, I think. The guy had some warrants outstanding for narcotics.
Yeah, did you see in that one still there? You can actually see the bullet casing
fly in the air.
Yeah,
I saw that.
Yeah, you actually
saw
see the
that.
bullet casing.
Oh, I never noticed. I didn't notice that the first time I watched it.
Yeah, that's
insane.
That is wild.
Put the cursor where it's at. I don't see it, Mark.
Look there. Oh, see right
there.
here. See the casing? That it took a shot.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the
Oh,
case
okay. I
he's
see it now.
ejecting.
Right near the brim of his hat.
Yeah, I see it.
You know, it'd be interesting to go through and look at this guy's history. They said he's got an extensive history, but it'd be interesting to break that down. How many times he's been in the media prior to this for other incidents and just what his history is. I'm always fascinated about that. It's like we see all these stories of these people and, you know, this is another shooting, right? But we're like, who is this fool, right? What the hell? And then
exactly. What's going through his head?
One of those states, Steve.
I think this might be one of those any fool can carry a gun states.
Oh, I need that graphic. You guys got to remind me. I got to make that graphic. Any fool can carry a gun.
Also, yeah,
but you know that I don't think that's what it is there. And I don't necessarily have a problem with anyone having a gun. I would like to see them get a 15-day background check and some training on it. But I don't have a problem if you're clean to be able to carry a gun. But yeah, any fool carry a gun just means you go out and get it. You know, my son's in North Carolina, and they'll probably do away with they'll probably do away with it here shortly. But right now, he's you have to have a CCW there, which he's already gone through the steps to get.
Yeah.
But which is good. You know, he's got to take class, take training, get certified. I think that's going to go away, which is sad.
But also,
I
also want to commend the second officer that the distance that he was able to drop this guy at shooting at a moving target who's shooting at you is that guy is one hell of a shot in my opinion.
So this guy here, this officer here, the one from this angle, he's already been hit, right? The one we're shooting, this officer that you just saw was already hit.
No, I think this is the second officer. I'm not sure.
Oh.
Yeah, it's some good trigger control there.
Yeah. Because again, you're out in the wide open. You don't know where those other rounds are going to wind up.
So they're consoling the officer down here. They're treating the wounded officer down here. Okay.
Right.
Wow. Okay. Well, I don't know. That's just unbelievable.
Yeah. A third officer who responded also, I think he didn't even bother getting out of the car. He started shooting at him from his window.
Wow. All right.
And it's not easy, believe me. It's not easy to hit a moving target.
No, it's not. All right, let's go to
especially one that's shooting back at you.
Some Sarita Ramaraju arrested for allegedly murdering her child during a Disneyland trip. Ugh. Yeah, no, these are never good.
Yeah, Mark, this is one of these custody battles that we've seen too many of these where if I can't have the babies, you can't have them either.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't have the graphic up there, but okay, let's watch it.
Okay.
NBC4's Hetty Cheng live for us in Santa Ana with what we just learned about that woman and that 11-year-old boy. Hetty.
Michael, a terribly tragic story here in Santa Ana. We know that crime scene investigators right now are working on the 3rd floor inside that woman's hotel room. They tell us the woman is a 48-year-old mother from Irvine that for whatever reason, for the past 2 weeks, she and her 11-year-old son were staying on and off here in this hotel. This morning when police arrived, they say that the woman told officers she had taken a whole lot of pills. Specifically, we learned over-the-counter pain meds, and that's why she was transported to the hospital. When officers arrived to her hotel room, that's when they made that terrible discovery.
God rest his soul, the little baby,
This man, who goes by Ed, says he made this cross for the 11-year-old boy killed. He didn't know him, but doesn't have to feel heartbreak.
I went and got the flowers and I put it together and it's heartbreaking.
Guests we spoke with at the La Quinta Inn and Suites say they woke up to the news this morning. Santa Ana police say a 48-year-old mother called 911 shortly after 9:30, saying she killed her son inside her hotel room.
I can comprehend, he's 11, you said, I don't know, to be honest. I just heard the news from you, and I'm like, this is messed up.
Our officers then searched the room, and unfortunately, they found an 11-year-old boy with multiple stab wounds. Our officers located a knife that they believe was the weapon used.
Elisa Witherell says she's staying in a room just below where she saw investigators and where she heard commotion this morning.
And we had heard some commotion, but it wasn't anything unusual. And then we heard, the banging, and someone hit the wall, and it sounded like something hit the floor really hard. And we heard a short yell, but that was it.
Witherell is a mom of young children and says she can't stop thinking about the little boy.
Anger. I don't know how someone could do that to their child. At all. I don't. I would do that for my child, not to my child. That's crazy to me.
The woman is still at the hospital in stable condition. Once she is released from the hospital, she will be booked into Santa Ana jail. We're live in Santa Ana.
Mark, I'm going to touch on this real quick. We got a lot of stories to get to, but Steve and I were working a case a long time ago with Fugitive Watch. And remember when the father took off with his kids and was giving away all his stuff and emptied his bank account and was threatening to kill the kids. And we had gotten tips on this guy, and Steve was working really close with several different agencies, marshals, FBI, everything. We were trying to catch this guy and track his credit cards, and we tracked him down to a hotel in San Jose, and
by the airport.
We, by the grace of God, there was a couple officers. They stayed up for 2 days. These guys stayed up for 2 days. Listen, and Steve was on the phone with them constantly, giving them updates and hints of where the guy might be. And it was a good. So I tell you, that stuff, that's scary. And it was a custody thing where the father's like, well, if I can't have them, and you're going to take them away, then I'm going to kill the kids. But Steve was on it. Steve stayed on it, and we caught, and it had a happy ending.
Yeah, we see that too many times where they kill the children, and it's because they want to punish the other spouse.
I was going to say, I'm going to plug my services here, and I know it's weird, but I just got signed up for another one today. I got a child custody case. So a lot of times in child custody, and Steve, I know you're a PI too, you need to show when one parent is fighting for custody from another. A lot of times some of these parents are hiding all sorts of stuff they're doing. They're doing drugs. They got someone living with them. They're not supposed to be living there. They've got, they're going out drinking and driving. There's all sorts of environments that the kids shouldn't be around, and people will hire private investigators. I always say go with what your attorney suggests. You can hire a private investigator to do a child custody investigation, where we can kind of get to the facts of what's going on that then can be presented to the court. But it made me think of something that I just got assigned today. I can't get into it, but that's what you can use a PI for something like that. All right, let's go to YouTube. Damn, YouTubers are getting in trouble.
Oh, I know. Yeah, this is too much.
Yeah,
Okay.
What people won't do for clicks, man.
What's that, Steve?
I said, no, Scott and I were discussing this particular story a little bit earlier today.
Okay. Police denounce YouTube personality JiDion and team posing as minors to lure suspected predators. Oh, I think I saw this on the another story on this. Okay, let's watch what's going on.
Okay.
This is interesting.
Well, John, both Kaiser and Albany police say they didn't know these stings were happening until they were called. I would have liked more of a heads up. They say groups like these doing it on their own can complicate the investigation process.
Albany police on Friday arrested 34-year-old Charles Malik, a registered sex offender, on an outstanding warrant. It was during a fake online meetup orchestrated by YouTube creator JiDion and his team posing as a minor. Police say the fake meetup was news to them.
They showed up unannounced and sprung this on us. That's one of the concerns that we've had in the past when we've assisted with other groups.
Police say these types of stings may have good intentions, but can also pose a risk to the public.
First thing is public safety. And so in this particular situation, we don't know who we're interacting with, and we don't know what that confrontation is going to look like.
On Thursday, Kaiser police, tipped off by JiDion, made 2 arrests. 29-year-old Kyle Andrew Monroy of Kaiser and 41-year-old Christopher James Lloyd of Portland. JiDion says his team, acting as decoys, would communicate with the men and pretend to be a minor, then arrange for a place to meet.
I'm not, the judge, jury, executioner, but I am the snitch. And, I will tell the police what these guys are doing.
JiDion sees what he's doing as the right thing.
If we can get these guys locked up and get the information to the police, then we should definitely do that.
Police, on the other hand, see it differently.
The Albany Police Department and area agencies, we do our own stings, and those stings are also very productive, but they're controlled to minimize risk to the public and certainly not put anyone in jeopardy that's unnecessary.
Police say if you want to report a crime against children, to contact cybertipline.org or call 1-800.
So, wow. So they didn't get in trouble. They're just being denounced for what they're doing.
So basically what these guys did is they probably screwed the case up pretty good. This guy's going to get away with it, more than likely. Because what happens is in these cases where police departments can do these sting operations, they can pose as young children and what have you to lure in these sexual predators. But there's a whole process that has to be done. There's a playbook that has to be followed. This YouTuber, I get the fact that he wants to go out and get the bad guys, don't we all? But the thing is, he's not trained in that. There's no way the DA is going to look at that and go, they're not going to file on that. The guy was arrested, but I don't know if you caught it. He was arrested on some warrants. They didn't arrest him for anything else because there was no real investigation. You can't just, if you're going to dupe phone calls and you're going to do wire taps and all that kind of stuff, there's a whole procedure you have to follow. So this guy's
in California. In California, you can't secretly record someone audio without their, you can't do it. And especially on the phone, that's wiretapping.
Two-party
and it's got to be two-party consent. The only time you can do it, and this is where law enforcement can do it, is if you are directed by the law enforcement to do it. So let's say, Steve, if you were the investigator and you're having me record a conversation with somebody, I'm not a cop, you could direct me, okay, Mark, we're going to tell you, we're going to be monitoring the phone call. You can record it, have the conversation. That's kind of like how the Omar, the city councilman was, I think, caught, right? They got the victim to call him, pretext phone call, right? And right? Pretext, right?
I call it duped pretext.
And got him to talk about the alleged incidents from years ago. and then that was used as evidence. But again, you have to be directed by a police officer to do that, and that happens a lot, you know, in these cases. So yeah, I understand the point. Their YouTube channel, they found their angle, but it's a dangerous.
They found a niche. They found a niche, and they thought, "Ooh, this is really cool." But really, what they're doing is when they do that, they're just notifying these guys are going to be a lot more careful next time, and the guy's going to be released into the community and just that much smarter now.
Yeah, but imagine if the guy has a family and all this other stuff going on, and they're like, "What he did what?" Imagine that, right? It's like
he has a gun and he decides to shoot him. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the YouTuber did anything that was I know he thinks he's doing the right thing, and he found a way to get viewers, and he got a niche in there. But the thing is that you
can't be vigilante.
You can't. It's not going to work.
No, that's
all he did was educate this guy.
That's why we pay our taxes. Let the police do it.
Yeah. Now, if he took it part way and he found out, he could have always said, "Hey, look, I'm talking to this guy. This is what's going on." He could have gave the police department that information and then let their crimes unit, their child crime unit, whatever they're doing, let them go forward with it and do everything the right way. But he took it all the way to the end where the guy showed up for the meet. And I'm going to tell you right now, I guarantee you the DA is not filing on that.
It's extremely dangerous. It's just extremely dangerous to the YouTuber.
So this next one is we got a couple from Americans that hang out in Mexico a lot. Paul and Christy Akeo arrested in Cancun, Mexico for alleged timeshare fraud. Let's watch the video, then we can talk about it. There we go.
The story unfolding nearly 1,500 miles away in Cancun, Mexico. A couple from Michigan is sitting in jail right now, facing a string of very serious fraud charges. But family members say it's all one big misunderstanding. Their daughter says Paul and Christy Akeo are being wrongfully held in a maximum security prison, all because of a dispute over a timeshare. Thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Damon Fernandez in for Ty Steele. Now, that couple has been behind bars now for the past 21 days, and there's no real end in sight. So
Now, all I can think about is every time I go to Cabo, I am inundated by people trying to sell me timeshares down there. I will never buy one. I will never buy one, by the way. So stop trying it. But yeah, that's all I think about when I hear the story.
Let's get out to Shantae Passmore. She's live tonight. Shantae, what are Mexican authorities saying about this?
Well, Demond and KG, Mexican authorities say the couple are wanted for committing fraud against a hotel chain in Cancun. We're learning that these allegations stem from a few years ago. And when the couple landed in Mexico, they thought that they would be checking in, but instead, police were waiting for them.
Mexican authorities say they have evidence linking Paul and Christy Akeo for allegedly defrauding a hotel chain. A state attorney general releasing the pair's mugshot.
The scariest thing is that they've been there for 21 days and we've had no direct contact with my stepdad, Paul, at all.
Their daughter, Lindsay, says she only gets to speak with her mother, Christy, and even that's been inconsistent. So how did a mid-Michigan couple find themselves in detention at their destination? Mexican officials report the couple signed a contract to buy a club membership at a hotel chain in November 2021. Monthly charges were made on a card. Sometime between August and November 2022, the hotel learned the bank canceled 13 transactions for a sum of more than $116,000, about 2.4 million Mexican pesos at the exchange rate at that time. Then, Mexican authorities say Christy Akeo shared on social media how they reportedly committed the fraud. In March 2025, police arrested the couple. Loved ones say the couple believed the unpaid credit charges were already settled.
Palace Resorts breached the contract and they're retaliating and they're extorting them because of it.
Okay, so the Mexican government is saying that, or the prosecutor saying that they broke the contract. So are they saying that they used the hotel, but then and then just got
what they're saying?
Yeah,
apparently they got in an agreement for a timeshare. A lot of people do it, but then they ran up on. It sounds like on their personal credit card. They ran up like $116,000 in charges. Who knows what those were for? Maybe they were services at their hotel. But the part that I caught when I watched that just now was where they talked about how they bragged about it on social media. Now I know this is alleged, but they talk about where they bragged about it on social media, which is what gets a lot of people caught and in trouble. And
That's
I know a lot of people think they're funny.
That's part of the evidence the prosecutor's using against them.
A lot of those people at Toledo, Idaho, they brag on social media about how screwed up things are, and these are guys that took medical disability from city governments and state governments.
Yeah, we know who they are.
And then they go to Idaho and they're out there doing all this stuff, and then these, I love it when these city governments go after these fools for basically catching them committing medical fraud or workman's comp fraud, I guess.
Fraud, right.
Or sending them a bill. Oh, by the way, since you retired on medical, but now you're claiming this, you owe us $150,000. I actually like when that happens.
You're running your skydiving school. But but these guys,
but I don't know. I mean, we're hearing both sides. We're hearing the side from the prosecutor and the kid. It does seem like if they're posting on social media, if they have that evidence, they have those screenshots. If they have that going down, that's, Mexico is its own country, and you go down there, you sign a contract. I mean, you're held by their laws.
And Mexico had
waited for,
and Mexico had an Interpol red alert notice warrant for them.
What does that N mean on the thing, Steve? When they see the
I'm not sure what that means, but Mexico, like a lot of countries other than the United States, it's against the law to publish people's pictures unless they're proven guilty, and that's the case. That's the case in Mexico. That's why they always put the black line across their face.
I didn't know what the N means in the parentheses. Who knows? Someone in the comments, let us know what that means.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
If anybody knows, tell us. I'm curious. But I mean, I tell you what, I wouldn't want to be them sitting in a Mexican jail right now wondering what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know.
And I would think that they would have had, again, this is my opinion, that they would have had some inkling that that Mexican law enforcement was involved. And, this is not a surprise that the police were involved.
Hey, if they're registered Republicans, maybe Trump will do some sort of trade.
Yeah. Wouldn't surprise you.
We could pull off.
If they're Democrats, he's not going to do it.
Put him on Fox.
They didn't vote for him. He's not going to do it. What's that?
I said, put him on Fox News. It'll be a done deal.
Jesse Waters.
Yeah. He'll take their cause.
Well, it's interesting to see what happens. But yeah, you got to remember, you signed a contract. I mean, I had family that had a timeshare, and it's not.
But it sounds like to me. It sounds like to me, though, it was more than just the timeshare contract. It sounds like they ran up a bunch of credit card charges probably at the hotel that they were connected with, and they let them do it because they were owners or timeshare owners or whatever. And then they turned around and just canceled. They got a hold of the credit card company and canceled the charges. They probably told the credit card company it was fraud. So
they didn't release the social media posts, though, right?
No, I didn't see it.
No, they did not. No, again, we've only gotten one side of the story here, so we don't have the prosecutor's case yet.
Well, I think the prosecutor did put it out there. I was thinking too that it could be very bad publicity for the hotel industry, the timeshare industry in Mexico. But then I was thinking, well, if they actually did commit some sort of fraud, it's like, hey, just go down there, honor your contract.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on this.
Yeah.
Hopefully, I'd love to see the post that they were talking about because the media said that they were bragging about it. So where did they get that from? Did they get that from? Where's that source from? Or is that just something that this reporter came up with? I don't know. So I'm not going to condemn them because I haven't seen it.
It sounded like the reporter talked to the prosecutor.
I'll condemn them.
Okay.
No,
Okay.
I don't know.
Yeah, because
I don't know. I'm just joking. I
well,
feel
here
I
you're
mean, look,
innocent until proven guilty. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the rules over there.
yeah, I go to Mexico. I kind of I don't want to, it's like that.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble.
I don't want to get in trouble. What do you want me to do? All right, let's go. Hey, we got another YouTuber. What's up, YouTube? Popular YouTuber Grant Wills reports possible kidnapping robbery to fans instead of 911. Maybe you should get together with those other YouTubers that are doing the sting and they can come rescue him.
Yeah.
This thing stinks to me.
Let's watch this. Let's go see let's see what the young man here says.
Hostage in an Uber 2 weeks ago. I was heading to the airport about 50 minutes away. When the Uber arrived, I put my luggage in the back of the car, but the driver was very adamant that I put everything in the back, including my backpack. My backpack usually always stays on me. I have my camera, my iPad, and my laptop. Unfortunately, I did not follow my instincts. I wanted to maintain my 5-star rating, so I put my backpack in the back of the car. As I was sitting in the back of the car, I was starting to feel a little uncomfortable. It was at this moment he unplugged the dash cam that records the inside of the car. At this point, I was worried for my safety. I don't know what kind of handheld devices he had. I looked at my phone and realized the Uber ride was canceled. I'm not sure if he did it in the moment or earlier in the ride. To protect myself, I had my hand under the seatbelt and over the buckle, just in case anything went down, I could move quickly. 10 minutes away from the airport, he tells me I pay cash. I don't carry cash. He then brings me to this gas station. As I get out of the car, my goal was to at least grab my backpack. But then he locks the car and tells me I'm not getting anywhere close to it unless I pay. At this point, I have nowhere to go. He has all my stuff. I go to this ATM acting like I'm going to get cash, when I know full well that I don't allow my cards to work on ATMs. Eventually, I figure out how Zelle works and I pay him $30. He was originally asking for 18 and I just wanted my stuff. But once he saw I paid 30, he asked for more money. But while he was grabbing his phone to figure out Zelle, he unlocked his car, but never locked it again. I act like I don't notice this so I could casually make my way towards the back of the car while he's trying to haggle with it. Eventually, I was able to get to the back of the car before he unlocked it again and grabbed my stuff. Luckily, the gas station was about a mile away from a train that takes me directly to the airport. I probably should have called the police, but I make my way to the train instead. As I make my way there, he starts to follow me. So I call my mom, so I'm on the phone with someone just in case. And it was at this moment he decided to give up and leave. The crazy thing about all of this, I heard zilch from Uber when I reported him. So it looks like I'm not using Uber again.
All right.
I called.
I was hostage in an Uber 2 weeks ago.
I ain't buying any of that. I'm not buying one bit of that. The
So
guy's
he never
got
made a
his
police report.
phone. He's got his phone. If he thought he was being kidnapped, he could have called 911. He could have called anybody. I'm not buying any of that. I think this guy, he's one of these famous YouTubers, just like the one that I was talking about today that was apparently doing the SE, having relationships with a Chihuahua that's now in jail. But I'm not buying this. Are you guys buying any of that?
Yeah. So his backpack's in the car. Where's his phone at? That's what I want to know.
In his hand.
It's in his hand.
It's in his hand because he checked right there. He said the Uber that it was canceled.
You can start live streaming to his big popular YouTube channel and start saying, "I'm being kidnapped right now. I'm in an Uber on such and such drive, and this guy here won't give me back my stuff." Right?
And now,
right?
Based on what he's saying, if he's reporting that he was kidnapped, that's a felony. The police would have no choice, but at this point, they'd have to investigate it. That's easy peasy. All they got to do is call Uber, find out who it was, go out and investigate it. All that for, he's saying $18, $30. I mean, I'm not buying any of it. I think it was. I'm surprised. I mean, I know he got and we're guilty because we just perpetuated it for him. We just helped to put it out there. But in my opinion, I think it's bullcrap. I don't believe any of it.
I think you're right.
I think so.
Well, not only that, but if it is true, you really this guy is obviously he appears to be somewhat of an intelligent young man. I mean, you have to protect the rest of the public and let the police know that this guy is doing this to people. And
well, he's saying he contacted Uber. What?
Yeah.
Uber police?
Yeah, but you need to let the police know that this guy is kidnapping people.
They have an Amtrak police, We should sign it to be Uber police.
Yeah.
We're all retired law. We all
space
got our qualifications. Uber police. Scott's gonna be my partner.
And
Steve's gonna dispatch.
why would you call your mother and not 911?
Yeah, I'm not buying any of that. I'm not buying any. I'd love to hear the follow up on that. I'd love to hear what agency got stuck having to investigate that one. That'd be really simple. You just get a hold of Uber investigating a felony kidnapping. I need to find out. They're going to look it up on the computer. They're going to see who the guy is. That's an easy investigation.
Yeah, I was going to tell him. I said, kid, if if you need a private investigator,
yeah,
to track down that Uber driver right now.
Let's just please.
Hey, he didn't want to part with $30. He's not going to part with what you're paid.
I have a retainer. He's going to have to work
a public
that.
service announcement. Let's let the public know, please. If this happens to you, we highly recommend that you call the police.
And then me.
Yeah.
but again, there's a retainer involved. All right.
Okay.
Or come on our show and you talks about it. Maybe we'll work on that. Wow. Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. I'd like to see that one, how that goes. All right. So moving on. Las Cruces mass shooting at Young Park Car Show video released. All right, here we go.
We're going to turn now to that newly released video. The moment gunfire rang out in the deadly mass shooting in New Mexico. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman joins us with the latest. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Rebecca. We now know that two groups of people at an unsanctioned car meet had a dispute and opened fire. Police say they blasted 59 rounds, hitting their targets, hitting bystanders. And those videos and the 911 calls are blood-curdling. They give you a sense of the chaos of those moments as first responders try to administer aid to the victims.
This morning, that chilling new video of the moment that gun battle erupted in Las Cruces, New Mexico. Wow. Which left 3 dead and more than a dozen injured. Gunfire shattering the night at this unsanctioned car show, where authorities say a dispute between multiple gunmen from opposing groups escalated into a firefight at a local park.
Oh my God, I just witnessed a murder.
Frantic 911 calls detailing the horror.
Young Park, people got shot. Young Park.
Police body camera video rolling as officers treat multiple victims, including a woman who was shot in the neck.
Stand up. You're going to be okay. I need you to calm down, okay? Okay, breathe.
Police recovering 59 shell casings from the scene. And authorities pointing to videos like this one where men can be seen brandishing AR-style rifles outfitted with flashlights to illuminate car stunts.
There's a lot of stuff that's happening at these car meets that is extremely dangerous and irresponsible. Guns are involved where they're just out, they're used for different purposes, and no one bats an eye.
4 suspects, all but one of them juveniles, currently behind bars on murder charges.
And one of those suspects is only 15 years old. Now, New Mexico's governor has said the state needs to address the soaring rate of violent crime, especially among juveniles. In Las Cruces alone, violent crime has spiked 46% just in 2024. Rebecca.
That is a staggering statistic. Okay.
So my opinion about this, it's not so much any fool can carry a gun. It's any fool can get a hold of a gun.
Yeah.
And that's what I talk about like, again, I like the well-regulated militia part of this whole Second Amendment part. Like, you buy a gun, but there's these stories, these got people going in these gun stores in Nevada, buying multiple guns, American citizens, and those guns are all ending up in Mexico. How many guns can you buy? And these stores just keep reselling these people guns over and over again.
And are they going to keep it named New Mexico? And were there any signs posted no guns at that park?
Mark and Scott, you
I have
guys,
questions.
you guys normally take assault rifles when you go to boat shows or car shows?
No,
that's the new thing.
But again, it's just what we're saying about how it's so easy to get a hold of it.
And not only that, Mark, but again, it looked like there was at least 100, maybe more people, more than 100 people that attended this show. And I can't believe that not one person thought to call the police and tell them ahead of time that this was going to happen, that there was going to be this unsanctioned.
Steve, they happen all the time.
Yeah, those happen all the time.
Shows
and obviously they're showing guns all the time. You know, that's just part of the scene.
No, I'm just saying to call the police and let them know that hey, that I got a text that there's going to be a sideshow going down.
Yeah,
let them know ahead of time.
You're expecting too much from people. These happen all the time. I mean, look at Oakland has them like nightly. We have them. I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, they still have them over here off of Bailey Road in South San Jose.
Yeah.
And I mean, the fact that these guys feel it's necessary to bring a weapon like that, the one that guy's holding, and illuminating the car.
Not just one, but multiple people.
Yeah.
That's just we're lucky more people didn't a lot of people didn't end up dying. It's amazing.
And New Mexico, if I remember, I want to say it's a blue state too. I mean, it's not like this is like a red state.
But we're only what, 3 months into the year, and they said what is it, 46% increase in violent crime?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
For 2020.
Don't go to the unsanctioned sideshows.
No, don't. That's the moral of the story.
Yeah, don't go to those.
We got some.
If you do, bring your gun.
We got some more really good stories coming up, Mark.
More good ones, huh?
Yeah, we got.
That's it though. We're gonna call it a night. No, I'm just joking. All right, let's see. Okay, this was pretty graphic. Columbus Police. Let's see. They put it on here. Sorry. Columbus Police release video of officer shooting murder suspect Darnell Jones caught on camera. We're gonna go straight to the video, and then we will see what's up here.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Brian Steele, BrianSteel.
Executive Vice President.
Audio here is really low, guys.
It's a long video.
Yeah,
Can you hold on 1 second?
I think the other video is better, Mark.
There's actual video of the shooting.
Yeah. This is more of a press conference
from the scene.
Brian, can you talk about you mentioned how dangerous this suspect was?
Okay, go ahead. Tell us what's going on here. I'll find the other video.
Yeah, this suspect was wanted by the Toledo Police Department for allegedly raping and murdering his 13-year-old daughter, and then cutting off her hands. And they had him identified, and he was wanted by name. And Toledo Police Department had be on the lookout. They asked the Columbus Police Department. They had information that he was in their city, and Columbus PD had their people out looking for this guy. I guess they had some locations that they figured he'd show up, and sure enough, he did show up. And the officers tried to take him into custody.
Let's watch what we got here.
We're tracking new details in the death of Kimani Lateef, the full unedited body cam video as police find and shoot the man they say killed her. What it shows happened just before an officer pulled the trigger. Plus, we get answers from Toledo's top cop.
We were able to develop information and leads, and as sad as it is, recover her and bring some closure to the family, to the community.
The investigation into the abduction and murder of the 13-year-old girl continues. The full uncut interview with Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley.
Political officials are going to have to step up. The local organizations, nonprofit and private, the businesses are also going to have to step up, because at this point, we should have been doing this a long, long time ago.
We just can't wait to make this happen and make it better for these kids out here.
The call for answers and justice continues as our community mourns the death of 13-year-old Kimani Lateef. Her family is remembering her life as she would have celebrated her 14th birthday this week. And her father remains in the hospital, shot by police and charged with killing her. Here's how the story has unfolded. Toledo police posted the alert that Kimani was missing on Tuesday, March 18th. It was just after 4 p.m. She was last reported at her grandmother's home on Elm Street in North Toledo. The next day, WTOL 11 spoke with the teen's grandmother, Dorothy Lateague. She's also Kimani's legal guardian. She said she came home from work Tuesday morning, found Kimani was missing. She called her school before making a report to TPD. By Friday, March 21st, family, friends, even strangers came out to North Toledo to search for Kimani. Her mother, Tiara Caston, was there from Cleveland. Kimani's dad, Darnell Jones, would be charged with abduction on Sunday, March 23rd. Court documents show he was the last person with her before she went missing. Then on Monday, March 24th, police found a body inside a home on Miami Street in East Toledo. The Lucas County Coroner's Office would later identify the remains of those of 13-year-old Kimani Lateague. Her time of death was 12:19 p.m. Jones would be charged with murder that same day, and Columbus police tracked him to the city on Tuesday, March 25th. It was then that officers ended up shooting him and finding a gun at the scene. In a moment, we'll show you the unedited body cam video of this encounter. We do want to warn you, the video is graphic. There is profanity. You can see Columbus police identify Jones walking in the short north. They approach him. He says he wants to die, ignores police commands, appears to move his hand in his pocket, and then is shot. You're going to see two views, one from the officer who shot Jones, and then it switches to another responding officer whose body-worn camera better shows what happened next. Viewer discretion is advised.
Come here, man. What your hands? Kill me. Dude, show me your fucking hands right now. Pull your fucking hand out of your. I swear to God, pull your.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Dennis in a second. Medic, move.
Don't fucking move.
He lived.
All right.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
Wow.
You guys are okay.
Don't move. He's got 33 right there. 33 in his hands. No, it's a walkie-talkie, but there's 33s right here. Don't you move or you're gonna get shot. Okay. All right. Got it. Yep.
So, Mark, I'd stop it there.
Yeah.
Stop it there.
Yeah.
Now I watched that whole video, and that thing goes on and on and on. And basically, it shows the officers rendering him safe, checking his belt line, making sure that he doesn't have any other weapons, rendering first aid, sitting him up, calling for medical, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a really long video. If people want to go watch it, they could go to our site and watch the whole thing, but it's pretty uneventful after that. But apparently some of the comments that I read, that some people that have watched it on our social media, people didn't understand why he shot the guy. They said, well, he didn't point a gun at the police officer. Why was he shot? And there was a lot of back and forth on that. And as you said, they said, the guy's telling him, no, kill me. And he reaches in his pocket. And this officer already knows they have the body of the 13-year-old where, apparently she allegedly had been raped, murdered. I think her throat slit and her hands cut off. So this guy knows he's dealing with a pretty bad hombre right here. And this guy's saying, kill me. So anyway, so that's, you can watch the rest of the video, if you go to our website at fugitive.com, but it's a pretty long video.
He made a movement. He made a movement down on the right side of his body just before the officer shot. So the officer probably thought he was going for that gun.
Commonly referred to as a furtive movement.
Definitely. It's a sad story. I can't even imagine what that poor little girl went through in the last moments of her life. And that was her father that did it. It wasn't even a stranger. And of course, we don't know the whole story and the family dynamics and all of that. And I'm sure, and the guy lived. So I can't imagine there's going to be nowhere on this earth that he'll be safe. There's no jail cell that's gonna. I don't know where they're gonna put this guy.
There's no family dynamics to justify what happened to that poor child.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. We don't know we don't know if this was just like we were talking about earlier, a child custody thing, or if the father already had if he was already, obviously the guy is definitely a piece of shit, and and he lived. Now we'll get to support him while he appeals for the next 25 years.
Yeah, I don't know if Ohio has a death penalty or not.
I'm gonna get a POS graphic that comes up every time Scott says that.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I don't have a problem with it.
Little floating duct tape.
There's not a ledge. I mean, it's not a ledge piece of shit. He's a piece of shit.
Yeah.
All right. So, okay, you guys go to church? I don't go to church anymore. But do they ask you for money?
Oh.
Sorry.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Do they ask you for money at church?
Uh-oh.
Pastor Marvin Sapp allegedly tells ushers to close doors until flock donates $40K.
I don't go to his church, Mark.
Okay, I want to know. I haven't watched it. I just read the headline. I'm hoping they explain what maybe he needed the $40K for, but let's see and find out.
What's up, you guys? It's Layla Lynn, and I'm back with another video. And when I tell you this is a sad story, this is a sad story.
Where are we getting this from? Off someone's
Sapp
TikTok?
is going out bad, and I'm like, is this the same Marvin Sapp I used to follow on social media?
The mainstream media had not picked the story up yet when I posted this.
Oh, okay, all right.
So if you can.
Well, the mainstream media is fake news, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you can scroll up to where it shows him in action.
So this is a YouTuber that's a TikToker, right?
Right.
How far do I have to go?
Right there's good.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Now, I have to tell you guys, this is almost like a first watch for me. Like, I watched the first few seconds of this video on the Neighborhood Talk, and I was like, I got to do a video. I got to do a video about this. Shout out to Kyle Anthony at the Neighborhood Talk, but I have not seen this video in full.
You're going to edit this one.
But the caption says,
I have the edited
church
version
child.
on Instagram.
Marvin's, look, a new meaning to a lock-in, right? Marvin Sapp wanted that money paid immediately. Thoughts. So let's get into the video.
There you go.
Take your phone and stick it on the bucket.
Why?
Shh. Giving is worship. Giving is worship. Giving is worship.
Bull. BS. Bullshit button.
Giving is worship. This ain't.
Even if you ain't got it. And that's the thing. A lot of people in church, a lot of people, period, especially nowadays, people just ain't got it. So for him to say giving is worship, the problem with that type of thinking is that if you say giving is worship and everybody ain't got it to give, then you're making people feel bad. Like that spiritual manipulation, and it's
guys
abuse. It's abuse.
This is going to drag on.
People who don't have the money feel like they can't worship. They can't afford to worship. And that is a problem. That is a problem. And I know that's not biblical. It's not. And a lot of times, so many church leaders, like they interpret the Bible based on their own interpretation. And it's just not right. It's not right.
The time to talk. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people need to give $20. 1,000 people online need to give $20. This is easy.
Now, this is also a tradition in a lot of Black churches, and I don't want to get into naming names as far as the type of Black churches, but a lot of Black churches, and I say Black churches because the white churches I've been to, I haven't seen these lines where you line up. If you're giving $20, you get in this line. If you're giving $100, you get in that line. If you're giving $1,000, you get in that line. And it's kind of like a show. It's all a big show.
Really?
And I just don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, and I feel like it's embarrassing. It's embarrassing for the people who just don't.
Is that true? Is that real? Is that real? That you line up?
I don't know. I've never seen that.
At my old church, a Catholic church, they just pass the basket around. You put it, You know, put the fuzz in your pocket in there, or put some money or an envelope, you know, of your family envelope, whatever, like that.
When I watched the video, I just saw the part where he's telling the ushers to lock the doors and shut the doors, and telling people he's not letting them out, and he's telling people that are watching it that apparently he's live streaming it, that there's 1,000 people watching, that he expects each one to give $20, and he's not letting people out. I mean, that was what he was preaching. And
you know, when we first did the show, when I first joined you guys doing the show, 2008 or 9, I was in church, still going to church at that time, and I didn't have any money, so I put one of those free car wash passes Scott had given me in the basket. You know, just
hey,
this is the thing, huh?
Yeah.
Guys, you don't need to give money.
So
for salvation,
anyway,
I'll tell you that
Mark,
right now.
He has been facing a lot of backlash or criticism from other pastors and from the public in general about asking the ushers to lock the doors until he gets $40,000, and it's the mainstream media is now starting to pick up the story.
Is anyone watching The Righteous Gemstones on HBO?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Love it, man.
Is that my daughter started watching it. I haven't watched it yet. Is something similar? Is this what we're talking about?
Yeah, I've been telling people you got to watch it. All that fake Christian stuff, like all the stuff we see in our government with all how they're so Christian, and they're, you know, over here we're Christian, and over here my hands, don't look at my hand in your pocket.
Jesus wants me to have a $10 million private jet, so I need you to give money.
Yeah,
why 40K? Why 40,000? What
that
do you
was
need
what
40,000 for?
I think what it was, I watched a few of them, and like I said, if you want to go to our Instagram page, I have the short version in our feed at the Fugitive Watch Instagram, and it just said, it has him sitting there. He's telling the ushers, lock them doors. No, I said, lock them doors. I mean, lock them doors. Nobody gets out. And
I'd get out. I'm getting out.
And then
you can stop me getting out.
You people that got 1,000 people online right now, each one of you has to give them $20. And then all the people that were standing up there, he told them, it's not for you to stand up here with me. It's not for you to be up here. All you're going to each give $100 right now. $100. I was like, oh my God! I mean, talk about fleecing your flock.
But
I mean, it was
I don't know. There might be some fire code problems also. You know, telling the people to lock the doors. You know, and
yeah, it was.
I know one of I saw another YouTube about this, and the pastor on that one was saying that, you know, at least say why you want the money. You know, do you want to start a daycare center? Do you want to start a free clinic?
Got to pay off my side hustle.
Yeah,
side piece. Got to pay off the
three-seeker children. It's just money. It's
pay off my drug habit. Pay off my drug dealer.
A bunch of tax-free money that, because they're considered a church, it's tax-free money. I mean, sometimes I go on vacation, I drive through a lot of these, you know, when I take my boat to lakes, you drive past, and every other house is a freaking church. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand why all these houses were churches until later when I realized, because that way they don't have to pay taxes. I guess it's
tax exemption.
Yeah.
I don't. There's a lot, a lot of tax exemption out there, and then you get these a lot of these. It also makes you think of a lot of these.
So I don't know, Mark, right now whether law enforcement has gotten involved or not about this case.
Yeah, and the tax exemption too. I'm thinking about all the nonprofits. Some great nonprofits out there. I like the South Bay Compassion Center in Gilroy. Excellent organization, you know, for the homeless problem down here in the South Bay. But I know there's other ones, especially in San Francisco. You hear these stories of these people that are creating these nonprofits and then getting millions, hundreds of thousands of dollars in city contracts, and they're buying apartments and cars for their family members who are all board members of the nonprofits and stuff like that. And it's kind
of the scary thing. Mark,
back in the 70s, Mark, when I was working as a police officer at a sheriff's deputy when we got the massive refugees from Cuba, what was it, the airlift,
the boat lift.
Yeah, the boat lift from Cuba, and then later when after the end of the Vietnam War, when we got the hundreds of thousands of people from the refugees from Vietnam, and it was Catholic Relief Services who took on like almost 100% of helping those people get housed and fed.
Yes. A lot of them settled in San Jose.
Yeah.
Do that. I remember my own church. I grew up in a Catholic school, and I remember the families coming into our parish that were living with other families and stuff like that, you know, coming in from right around there, 78, 79, you know, even before that, after the war, 75, you know, you started seeing some families come in.
We didn't have one single police officer that spoke Vietnamese, you know, and we had hundreds of thousands of refugees come into the city. And if it wasn't for Catholic Relief Services finding translators for us, we would have been helpless.
Hey, this next story is there was 2 women visiting their husbands that have been killed at this same prison while they're visiting. So I'm almost thinking it was kind of a one inmate might have seen the story of the other one, so he ended up doing the same thing type of thing, right? I don't know. But
I don't know.
Did we talk about this already, or
no? We haven't talked about
one of them.
Another woman, Tanya Vanessa Corpus Thomas, allegedly murdered while visiting inmate at state prison. Did we cover the other story, Steve?
No, Mark. What happened was the story we did cover. This case here actually happened before the case we covered, and this lady did not know about it, and the family, not the lady, the victim's dead, but the family said, hey, she's not the first one to be killed. Our mother was killed, you know, months ago, you know, so Mule Creek State Prison already knew there was a problem.
What could go wrong? Conjugal
These are happening during the conjugal visits, correct?
Correct. Yeah. Apparently,
we reported first last week the November death of a woman at Mule Creek State Prison during a conjugal visit with her husband was ruled a homicide, and now we're learning another woman was also murdered during a visit with her husband at the same prison a few months before that. Both deadly incidents taking place at the Mule Creek State Prison in Ione. That's in Amador County. KCRA3 investigates Lizzie Mitri spoke exclusively with that woman's family.
Curtis, this family saw our investigation last week after the murder of 62-year-old Stephanie Dowles, and they said they felt compelled to come forward with their story.
We were born and raised in San Francisco. We were raised by our grandparents. And this is just a little collage of her life.
Janine Rojo and her cousin weren't just close in age.
We've literally been together since birth.
They did everything together until July 1st, when everything changed.
It's just tragic what happened.
Her cousin, a single mother of one, died.
Tanya Vanessa Corpus Thomas, she was 47 years old.
She says Thomas spent more than half her life battling lupus, but the family learned the disease is not what killed her.
For her to be taken away this way, it's gut-wrenching.
The Amador County District Attorney tells KCRA3 investigates Thomas's husband, 48-year-old Anthony Curry, is charged with her murder.
Oh, it hit my gut.
He's accused of strangling Thomas during a conjugal visit at Mule Creek State Prison. Court records show Curry was already serving time in prison for a conviction of attempted murder following the 1999 shooting of his 19-year-old girlfriend at the time.
He shot a girl in the head and dumped her body, so he left her body for dead.
She was found at a remote truck stop in Richmond, barely alive, a gunshot wound to the head.
I gotta stop. So he's convicted of, I know people are going to hate me for this. He's convicted for murdering somebody, a prior girlfriend.
Attempted murder.
I'm assuming. Oh, okay. All right. Never mind.
No, but the case we featured last week, that guy he was convicted of killing 4 people.
And they're still married to people.
Yes, and we don't even know if this is the tip of the iceberg. There may be other cases that we're not even aware of yet.
So they're having conjugal visits with murder suspects, people that probably serving life sentences or going to be in there for a really long
And a
time.
KCRA3 exclusive.
I don't.
Murder following the 1999 shooting of his 19-year-old girlfriend at the time.
He shot a girl in the head and dumped her body, so he left her body for dead.
She was found at a remote truck stop in Richmond, barely alive. A gunshot wound to the head left her permanently blind and partially paralyzed.
He's a violent person.
Rojo says she had no idea her cousin even had conjugal visits with him.
With that history of severe violence, why are they being allowed to have these visits unsupervised?
It's something she kept to herself until she saw the story on the November death of 62-year-old Stephanie Dowles.
4 months after a woman died.
Who supervises the conjugal visits? Are they going to put cameras in there? What the? I
don't know, man.
Right? I mean,
yeah, it looks like nobody supervises them.
They just put them in a room, right? They put them in the room for a few hours or something like that, right? Is that
no, actually, they're in an apartment for days. They give them 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, that's just crap. I mean, they want to do something that we want to make some changes. There's a change that needs to be made. You know what? Give the guy a magazine and a sock and call it a day, man. He doesn't. I mean, I
think in this case, the guy finally got tired of the dead body in the apartment and told the prison authorities, "Hey, come and get this lady. She's dead in here. I killed her."
All right. I don't know.
I in my opinion, my humble opinion, there needs to be some kind of an investigation and revision on these types of visits in the state prisons.
That should be allowed. It's that easy.
Yeah, I really don't think they should be allowed.
Bottom line.
Okay, we're gonna move on. I'm gonna change. We're not gonna continue with the fugitive stories because Scott and I watched this last week, and I want your guys. I think it's be a good segment for you guys to explain to people how this works. Both you being San Jose cops and stuff. Scott and I watched this story last week. Let's check this out. And I was gonna put this on Stolen 911, but let's put it here.
Breaking news now at 4:30. Ventura County Sheriff's deputies are in pursuit.
That's right. Gil Levis in Sky 5 overhead with details. Gil.
John and Sam, it's a high-speed chase, 120 miles an hour at one point.
Okay, so this is going to terminate here, and shortly these guys are going to foot bail. Now, as both police officers, I want you to explain your process of how the police are going to handle this as it unfolds, okay?
Okay.
So they're chasing a stolen car, or the stolen car is now running by itself. Helicopter, the news helicopter is capturing all this, not the police helicopter, from what I understand.
We're about 97, almost 100 miles an hour right now. Heavy traffic.
Falls off,
we're eastbound on the 118 freeway. This started along the 23 freeway when Ventura County Sheriff's tried to pull this vehicle over. We're trying to get the want on the vehicle, but the vehicle took off. It did exit at Terra Rihada for a few seconds and then got back on the 23. It's now on the 118 eastbound. And is in Simi Valley. So we're keeping an eye out for the Sheriff's Department. The airship is going to be arriving shortly, but this vehicle driving very fast on the 118 freeway in some heavier traffic. In fact, we saw it coming around a curve on the 118, and it looked like it hit one of the vehicles. It tried to split lanes between one of the vehicles there in the slow lane, and it looks like it may have scraped that vehicle, but continued on here, possibly hitting another one doing the same thing. So we're looking at 96 miles an hour right now, and the Ventura County Sheriff's trying to catch up to the vehicle. Because of speed and the traffic, they've been having a hard time keeping up with the vehicle, who's been using the shoulder of the road to pass. But again, we have it looks like a tire came off possibly of that vehicle. Not sure what happened there. There was a tire that came off and hit that truck.
Steve, you have not seen this, right?
They may have a problem with this vehicle now.
Your cop sense will kick in here.
We'll see
what
happens. It happened so quick. I couldn't tell if it came off the vehicle or not. It looks like he's going to be exiting here, Jim. He's going to be exiting the freeway here. This is going to be at Tapo Canyon. Hard on the brakes. He hits the brakes. That car is disabled likely. Oh, no, the car's going to roll away. 2 suspects running. The driver in that pink. There's a third one coming out of the back. We're going to stick with the driver right there, and he's going southbound away from the freeway into a neighborhood here and jumping a fence. We're all going to stick together here, and we should be seeing.
This is when you want to see if any fool got a gun state, the homeowner come out with a gun, right?
Oh.
No, but that's not going to happen here. But That's when I wish we would see it. But anyway,
the airship coming up overhead. Let me come out to a wider shot. They're all in this backyard. This is going to be off of Woodhaven, and they're running still together in that backyard, maybe trying to get into the shed. One's going into the shed, and the second one's going into the shed. The driver there, he's going to go in the shed. All three in the shed here. So again, this is
all right, Steve.
You guys not obviously don't know that there's a news helicopter following them.
They have no idea that news helicopter's watching them.
It's off of Woodhaven, just south of the one.
Steve, we know what the sergeant's going to do. What would you do, the officer? You're the instant commander here. What's going to happen here?
I'll go lock the door.
No, but Scott, when they start getting this call in, what are the procedures? What's the first thing any police agency is going to do in a situation like this?
Well, first thing they're going to do is once they're notified where these guys are, they're going to move officers into position, set up a perimeter so that they can't get out, and make sure that the houses they might have to evacuate a couple of the houses next door. But first thing they got to do is set up a perimeter before they try to make any contact. I mean, they know they're in the tool shed because the helicopter is going to tell them.
So what I'm thinking happened here is that the deputies, the police department here, obviously can go to the live feed at KTLA, and then just watch it. And we know that they just zoomed out to show the address, so they know where it's at. Okay, we have 3 suspects that are currently watching live. They opened the door there for a little second there, and they're inside the shed. So yes, you're going to set up the perimeter. And what we're going to see is police officers move in as it takes about 5 or 6 minutes, and you see the first patrol cars start showing up. Earlier, we saw one woman walk by this way, but she just was on a walk. And as you widen out, you're going to see more cops show up, and then you're also going to see police officers on the far perimeter. Here we got. They're just re-showing what happened here, but you're going to see officers even on the freeway side that are set up.
Yeah, well, they're going to send somebody also out to the vehicle to make sure there's nobody else in there, there's nobody hurt, and the car is secure. And now here's the police helicopter. It looks like they're there.
So right here we have cops. We have a cop coming around this way. He's getting a chair. We have these cops here that are covering here. We have cops back here at the car. We have cops over here. Plus, we have a sheriff's helicopter. I'm assuming that's a sheriff's helicopter there. This place is pretty well surrounded.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got it. They're gonna lock it down. And of course they need to they're gonna notify everybody where they're at. And they use, like in our department, we use A, B, C, D side where you're going to be, because you got to be careful of crossfire. They don't know if these guys are armed.
Right.
So,
some agencies, Mark, are really good at setting up perimeters. Some agencies, because of their size, are not as good at setting up perimeters, or lack of training. But I have to,
Well, I mean, lack of training is not an issue anymore, because
San Jose was really good at setting up perimeters.
Yeah, the lack of training thing's doesn't stand anymore, because Post certifies this. This is Post doctrine at this point. So, but what they do is they'll use other agencies. So, a small sheriff's department may hook up with the state police and the local PD, and maybe a mutual aid thing, and they'll come in. They'll get the game wardens out there and the park rangers, and they'll start setting up a perimeter with what they have. It's almost like active shooting situation.
Yeah, I was just going to say, obviously they're out there getting figuring out how the tactics are. They know these guys are still in there. They got eyes on the shed. They know they haven't come out, so they're gonna probably open this gate, or attempt to open the gate, because they want to give these guys, and then before they start giving them orders to come out.
Yeah, so you got the shield, and this was just to open the gate so they can have a little bit more visual what's going on that side of it. Now, Scott, in some towns here, especially like in Gilroy and Morgan Hill now in San Jose, if the airship's not up, they're going to throw a drone up, right?
Lots of drones. They'd have drones up there right now. I know that they would in the city where I live.
Yeah,
they have that ability, and
they
can see it in real time too.
They can see it in real time, and the incident commander, the SWAT guys or who's ever running the show can just watch the overview and start moving people around like a chessboard.
Now we can't hear what's going on, but at some point they're going to notify the perimeter that they're going to call in to these guys to come out. They probably got on the PA system on the car and told them, "Hey, look, you're surrounded. You need to come out. Walk." They're going to give them exact instructions what they want them to do. Walk backwards, your hands up. See. We can't hear, but I can guarantee you that's what they're telling them. Then they're gonna lay them each one down on the ground.
This guy with his phone. He checked his phone, put it back in his pocket.
Do the hokey pokey.
Yeah, he might have been thinking, I wonder if I could run, but no. Keep walking backwards. Walk backwards.
I've been in situations like this before on the task force in Radif where we chased.
They got the dog. See the dog?
We were with San Jose. Oh yeah. So they probably heard that dog barking too. That could be terrible.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I remember a situation with working with San Jose PD when I was in Radif, and we chased the guy. He ran from a stolen car. He ran down to a Willow Glen neighborhood, busted into the house while the older couple was home, and hid inside the home. Now, luckily, they ran out of the front of the house, but we could have had a hostage situation there. It didn't happen.
Happens all the time.
Big gun safe in the middle of the living room was part of a decoration, and the guy was trying to get into it. And hey, Eastside Tony, thanks a lot. We see you, man. Appreciate you coming on. And he tried to get in the gun safe, couldn't do it. But check this out. I'll never forget. The guy had a signed Steve Young jersey in a frame up on the wall. The suspect broke the frame, took the jersey off, and put the jersey on to try to disguise himself. Yeah.
I chased a guy on.
These guys are doing it. These guys are doing everything by the numbers right here.
I chased a guy on PCP who was armed with a knife over by King of the Story one night, and he broke into a house that he didn't know the people. He just broke into a house as I was chasing him, trying to get away from me. And the poor husband and wife were sleeping in bed. He just jumped right into the bed with them.
Yep.
So even though now what's going to happen is they're going to take each one, they're going to search them, they're going to go through their pockets, they're going to see what they have. Then they're going to, even though they know there's only 3 suspects in there, they're still going to go in and they're going to have to search the yard. They're going to have to go back, and then they're going to backtrack everywhere. They're going to search to see if these guys dumped any type of evidence anywhere, if they hid it in the tool shed or dumped it while they were running. And, it's a whole thing. And like we said, we don't know exactly. Could have just been a stolen vehicle and a pursuit. Pretty dangerous damn pursuit, too. They're lucky they didn't ram into somebody.
Right.
But I don't know if you noticed that wheel just came right off that car.
Yeah, a lot going on there with the
but it looked pretty textbook. I mean, they did. I mean, there's everything they did was. It looked like they rehearsed it, and you know why? Because they did rehearse it. Because that's how it's done.
Yeah,
they did a good job.
Yeah,
they did a really good job.
Yeah, and I wanted your input because I know you guys have been involved in a lot of that stuff, and I have too. And like I said, all police officers now are basically trained in those techniques. But this was this textbook because they didn't know they were being watched from the helicopter, and they could be seen all the way from the moment they're driving the car, and then then pulling over, and then getting out, jumping the fence. That's when you want them to run into one of those.
And the one thing you're not getting from
homeowners at that point.
The one thing you're not getting from that video, because we didn't have sound, but I guarantee you the sound of that dog barking and howling and barking and him hanging on to that dog. I mean, they heard that and they're like, they're like, I want no part of that.
I would love to have audio of what their conversation was in that shed.
Oh, Mark, we had an officer that could impersonate the sound of a barking dog, of a German Shepherd. He sounded exactly like, we would have him Hey, we're gonna send the dog in, and we'd have this guy. You just thought they're barking, and he sounds just like a dog.
I think I've been on a couple teams where they've done that before, once in a while.
He sounded exactly like a snarling German Shepherd, man.
Well,
all right.
Yeah, Eastside Tony's liking it, guys. All right, wait. You joined us late. We're going to end it here. We appreciate everyone watching, everyone checking it out. Remember, you can find these guys at fugitive.com, Scott and Steve, and also on Fugitive Watch on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. And me, if you need a private investigator, look me up at stolen911.com. And like I said, I got this Bel Air stolen in Dallas. I'm also working on a Charger in San Jose. I got some info on a Charger case that I brought you guys in on a few weeks ago, but we'll see what happens with that. But if you need me, you can just Google stolen 911. But listen, guys, we appreciate you guys spend time with us tonight. We'll make these into shorter videos. With Scott will
I'll clean them up.
Yeah,
go check out check out the YouTube site. We have all kinds of stories that we've done. The one we did one in the middle of the week last week on Ice-T, and that one's gotten a lot of action.
Yeah,
a lot of comments.
Yeah, you're right. I forgot about that. While we got that there, let's
a lot of comments on that video.
Do I dare?
I mean, and I would say that most people aren't saying really nice things about Mr. T there.
Mr. T, and a couple of them are not saying nice things about us.
Hey, that's okay.
Hey, Tony. Yeah, normally 7 p.m. on Monday nights. We started a little late tonight, but we're still trying to figure out the timing thing. Steve's got to be in bed by 8:30, so we have to try to do it early. But yeah.
If you subscribe to the YouTube site, you'll get a notification when we come on, because sometimes we do some improv in the middle of the week, like we did Mr. T there this week.
That's right.
So,
all right, guys, thanks a lot. We're gonna sign off. Remember, fugitive.com. Steve, everyone's guilty, correct, Steve?
No,
guilty.
All of our viewers that anybody you see on any of our platforms are to be considered innocent unless proven guilty in a court of law, and they may be considered by law enforcement to be extremely dangerous. Not all of them, but some of them. So don't make any attempt to arrest, apprehend, or detain them. If you recognize any of these fugitives, have any information, send us a tip to tips, TIPS, at fugitive.com. TIPS@fugitive.com.
I could have put this on there too, but I didn't. But yeah. Hey, I appreciate it, guys. And that's why Steve's in charge. All right?
Yeah.
All right, guys. See you later. Thanks a lot.
All right.